Hi, everyone. I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars. I'm so glad that you joined me today. Today, I'm going to talk about 6 strategies that I decided to put into action when I decided to retire early. I am a big believer in working for myself, doing things for myself to save money so that I have more freedom and I have time that I can schedule the way I want to. And I hope that these tips help someone today. Maybe you're getting ready to retire. Maybe you still have a family at home and you can put some of these into action to save yourself some money. But let's get started. So, the first one that I decided to do had to do with money. I have a working checking account that I keep just what I need for like utilities, monthly bills, that sort of thing. That's all that I keep in there. Everything else goes either into my money market savings to earn interest, and I keep just enough in there for an emergency fund. And everything else I put into a CD and I lock in a higher interest rate. And I do that to be able to save and to make some passive income. So that is how I set up my finances. And that has helped me a lot by just keeping what I need for like working money in my checking account for bills. That keeps me from spending extra or buying things because I know how much I have in there and I know that I don't have extra to be doing those sorts of things. If I decide to take a vacation or I decide to spend money on something like I just did some house repairs this past year, then that would come from my money market savings account where I save money that I can use if I have a big purchase or something like that that I want to dip into that. Other than that, I don't touch that. I keep that for emergencies and special large purchases. And then my CD income, I check that every time it rolls over and try to get the best deal for the amount of time that I want to lock that into to make myself some passive income. So setting it up like that has helped me a lot. And I know a lot of people do things differently. I'm just sharing the way that I have done them that helped me to retire early and know that I would have enough money to do that. The second thing is we cut off our cable. We cut off a lot of things right before I decided to quit my job to try to lessen the burden of any outgoing bills. We got a Roku box. We have absolutely loved it. It was a huge step for us to do that. We weren't quite sure how it worked. It has so many free TV programs and movies on there, and I just wish we would have done it sooner. Our cable bill was up to $180 a month. I can't even imagine what they charge nowadays. And I know some people have enough TV subscriptions and other subscriptions that it may add up to that when they add everything together. Sometimes when you look at it, cable used to be a good deal when you look at how they charge for every little thing. And I've noticed since January 1st that a lot of things that were even free before are now wanting to charge you like $3.99 to watch something. So I just find the free programs. If they're not free now, sometimes they come free later in the year. So I'm not going to pay for my TV movie watching. And so the Roku box has been a great addition to our household. Wish we would have done it sooner. I do have a link in the description box if it's something that you have thought about trying and maybe you've been scared to try it. I highly recommend it. The third thing is I decided to go with homemade versus purchased items. And a lot of that had to do with the flavor, the taste, knowing what goes into my items, having the time to actually prepare a better item than to purchase a pre-made item. One example is we make all of our own ice cream. We don't buy ice cream. We haven't bought ice cream in several years. I have a Cuisinart ice cream maker. I love this thing. I have an extra bowl that you freeze for 24 hours and then you use it to make ice cream. It takes only a couple of minutes to mix it up, just 2 cups of cream, a cup of milk, and 3/4 of a cup of sugar, a tablespoon of vanilla, and just a dash of salt. And that's all you need for vanilla. And then if you want flavors, you just add in the flavors. Our favorite is coffee ice cream. So I put in 3 tablespoons of instant coffee. So that is our favorite, and that's what we usually make. But that ice cream maker is just wonderful. You've ice cream in 20 minutes. So that has been a wonderful thing for us to have. But like I said, when you are frugal and when you are retiring early, sometimes you have time to do some of these things where you would have purchased them before. And is it cheaper to make it this way? It might not be, but it tastes better and we have the time to do it. And I just pick up like the plant cream, the Country Crock plant cream. We use that a lot instead of regular heavy cream. It's cheaper and we really like it. But you know, you can do some of these things homemade versus purchased, and it just improves the quality of your life. The fourth thing is I believe in heating or cooling the person versus the whole house. I'm here a lot during the day by myself. I don't want to turn on the heat for the whole house for just me. So I use a heated throw. If I get cold, I'll wear my robe on over my clothes. I will wear wool socks. I have fingerless gloves. It doesn't mean I'm not comfortable. I'm still comfortable. I'm still cozy. I can still do the things that I need to do. I make sure the curtains are open so the sun comes in, use a lot of the natural light that I possibly can, and I take full advantage of heating the person versus the house. It saves us a bunch of money, and I have no problem doing that because my freedom is worth me putting on a few warmer items just to stay home. We also love our flannel sheets. It makes such a difference crawling into bed at night with flannel sheets versus the cold, slick sheets that you would crawl into in the wintertime. So flannel sheets are another great addition to helping us keep our house a little bit cooler. And, you know, it's a one-time investment. So if you're interested in any of those things, I've also linked those in the description box below. But they save us a lot of money from those one-time investments. The fifth thing is we choose old-fashioned versus convenience so often. I have so many things that I used to buy for convenience that I wouldn't even consider buying now. We've switched over, we've adapted, and I just see them as a way to spend a little bit of extra money, and there's no need to do that. One of the things is like bag rice versus instant rice. I used to buy instant rice a lot when my kids were young, and I don't know why I did that. I guess I thought it took too long to cook rice. I don't have a rice cooker. I just make it on the stove. It takes about 20 minutes. It tastes so much better. The instant rice has like little pieces and particles, not even full pieces of rice. And there is such a quality difference. And you get so much more for your money. Instant rice probably costs double or triple what you would get out of one bag of rice. Another example is canned beans. I don't buy canned beans anymore. I have dried beans. It takes just a few minutes to soak those and a few hours to prepare them. I think ahead, I plan ahead, and that saves us so much money. There's probably 5 cans of beans or more in a bag of dried beans for a fraction of the price. So you're paying about 1/5 of the cost by buying the beans dried. And honestly, I prefer to do that. It cuts down on extra aluminum cans and things that I have to recycle. And I just enjoy the non-convenience of having my own dried beans because in the end, it saves me time by not dealing with the recyclables as well. Another example would be like homemade spices versus buying the packets. The packets are so expensive. The homemade are so easy, and you usually already have the spices in your spice cabinet. I have tons of videos in my frugal recipe playlist where I show the spices and things that I make from my spices that I already have. And a lot of times those pre-made packets have added ingredients like gluten, and we are gluten-free. So I just prefer to make my own. Again, you know what is in them. Another thing, another example would be homemade mixes versus the packages that you buy in the store. I make my own homemade cornbread mix in a jar. I make my own muffin mix in a jar. My own cake mixes. I don't buy cake mixes anymore. All of those things, you can pre-make all the dried ingredients, put them in a jar, just put a little label on them of the wet ingredients you need to add to them, and you're going to save yourself a lot of time and money and space, and use ingredients that you already have that you can purchase in bulk versus the little individual packages where you're mainly paying for the package. And along that lines, we don't buy like individually wrapped items like granola bars or oatmeal packets. We buy bulk oatmeal and we make our own oatmeal. I can't even imagine going back and buying the packets anymore. I feel like you hardly get anything for what they cost, and I can add my own flavorings to it. And again, it's another thing I have to store in addition to having the bulk item that I use in cooking and baking. So I just prefer not to have all of those extra packages taking up my pantry space. The sixth thing that I do is I just try to go back to basics on so many things, like I just touched on, including gardening. I do love to garden. I can't do a lot of it. I do have a lot of back issues, but I do indoor gardening in the wintertime. I do outdoor gardening in containers in the summer, and I enjoy watching them grow. I enjoy picking my own fresh organic items to bring in and mix into our meals. I just find it really enjoyable. It is a hobby that I had let go years and years ago when I was too busy raising children. I am back to it again now, and I absolutely love it. And it gives me some green things in here during the winter time that I can enjoy when everything outside is yellow and dead. I can see my green produce growing. I have a new tomato growing right now. I also have gone to less clothes washing, less hair washing, and it doesn't mean that we're dirty or that anything isn't clean. It just means it's not necessary. Lives today have become where we think we have to like run a load of laundry every single day. And we don't need to do that. A lot of times our clothes can be worn more than one time, especially when I'm here around the house and I'm not getting dirty. There's no reason for me to wash my clothes every single day. I have drier hair. There's no reason for me to wash my hair every single day. It will dry my hair out. In fact, daily hair washing didn't even become popular until the 70s. And I'm betting it had a lot to do with shampoo commercials, don't you? So yes, I do not wash my hair all the time. I wash it maybe every 5 to 7 days. Sometimes I even push it longer than that, but that saves me product and it's better for my hair. Most of the time during the day, I don't even have on anything that takes electricity. I plug in my laptop when it needs plugged in. I plug in my phone when it needs plugged in. And then when they are charged, I unplug them again. It's better for the batteries. It's better for my electric bill. And I just feel better when I'm here during the day and I'm not spending money. And yes, even using electricity is spending money. So if I don't need to be using electricity right then, you can bet I'm going to find an alternative to that as well. These are all things I do just to work for myself, to buy my freedom, to give myself more time to choose what I want to do instead of just taking the money that I have and handing it over to the electric company or to the grocery store. And I hope that they inspire you to maybe try a few things on your own that work into your lifestyle comfortably so that you can save money as well and maybe buy yourself a little bit of freedom. For me, freedom is worth way more than stuff. If you've enjoyed this video, I hope that you will stick around for another. Give me a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon.